Welcome to the Frank Imani Show. I'm yours, Imani. Our topic of today is transitioning from one career path to another. And our guest today is Chebet. She's going to share with us her story. Welcome, Chebet, to the Frank Imani Show.
Thank you, Imani. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. Chebet.
Yeah.
Who is Chebet?
Yeah, so who is Chebet? I will give an overview of Chebet from a career perspective. At present, Chebet is an Associate Director of Programs and Projects at an NGO called Kidogo. But Chebet has had 9 to 10 years of work experience in different careers, different industries. Chebet has been in customer experience, and Chebet has been in teaching and content delivery or training, and Chebet has also been a consultant. And Chebet has been in so many industries, from fintech to NGOs to logistics to e-commerce. So that is Chebet now.
So, Chebet, you transitioned from which career to which career?
So I went to school, or when I began my career journey, I was beginning my career as a teacher. And I went to campus to do teaching because both my parents were teachers, and that was a dream to have and be. So I went to school and studied home science and biology. Signed up to be a home science teacher, and that was my first career. I did that for 6 good months. And then mid that 6 months, I transitioned to being a customer care agent. So I was working in a company as a customer care agent, and that's how I transitioned from teaching to customer service. I really enjoyed what I did in customer service. It sort of came very natural to me, and I loved it. So I transitioned and I moved to customer service, and that was in 2015, and some part also in 2015-16. I combined customer experience and training for the same organization. So products will be launched, and I will train the team. That was also train externally, but I still found myself falling back to the customer experience or the customer service part of it. So I decided to move on with my career there and forge a career path. So I went to quality assurance in customer experience, and then I got my first supervisor role in customer experience. And I did that I remained in customer experience and grew in my role in customer experience. And I stuck there for 7 years. And in 2022, which was last year, I decided to put my customer experience hat down, and I went into projects and program management. By sheer chance, I found myself there and I enjoyed it, and I decided to build a career out of it, and here I am now.
So, if I may ask, what motivated you to do specific education?
My parents. My parents, because I don't know if in that age, 2011, 2012, when I was going to campus, the course we knew was education. We were assured of you will get your job. And it was also something that I saw my parents do. Both my parents, again, as I said, were teachers. And they loved it. Man, they looked so happy. And to me, there was actually no motivation. It was sort of the automatic career path for me.
So you want to say that it's your parents who motivated you? It's because of seeing your parents being teachers?
Yeah.
That's how you got yourself doing a course in teaching?
Yes, I would say that. And that is what we knew. Those days there were no career fairs like the way career fairs are now. Those days you make a decision based on what you know. And what we knew that this is a thing that works was education.
So what are some of the challenges that you faced in transitioning from education to customer service?
That's a good question. I think I'd say the automatic challenge was the debate in my head of, and I've gone through school for 4 years only for me to drop it. I think that was a challenge, and then I think it was also a challenge just explaining to my parents, because at the time I was also graduating and I was like, oh God, I'm actually graduating and this is something that I know I will not practice. So I did feel like I kind of wasted my parents' school fees for 4 years. So it was a little difficult to just balance out expectations. So I would say I found that a challenge. And also for myself, I was just like, well, this is a path that I take, and I may miss out on years. If you know education, you graduate, you get your TSC number. The more you practice, the likely you are to be observed by TSC. So I knew I was not going to practice, and therefore I was not going to be observed by TSC, at least at the time. So that was a risky move, because it was just risky. I was going on to a path that I did not know. There was no one who had gone ahead of me, so there was no advice. And yeah, I took my bets.
So it means you did not pursue the TSC number?
Actually, I have a TSC number.
You have?
I have a TSC number. I did my due diligence there. I have my TSC number. I just didn't follow the process of just making sure that they knew that, yeah, I can come back anytime and say, hi, I've gathered a lot of experience now in other fields. Can I
I'm not teaching.
Yeah, so that was difficult. Yeah, I even gave myself a deadline. I was like, I'm gonna do this for 2 years, and then I'm gonna go back to teaching, like being a child and having a child's mind.
Okay, so you've been in customer care area.
Yeah.
You've been a consultant.
Yeah.
So among the two, which one have you enjoyed more, the consulting or the customer service?
Difficult question, that one, Imani. I would say both. Otherwise I wouldn't have taken the path. But one thing was common I think one thing has been common in all the jobs that I've taken and all the career paths I've taken. I'm generally a process-driven person. So it was very easy to just transition from customer care operations to consulting, because consulting was easy because it was based on processes. It was based on a defined process, and I was following that. Project and program management is also the same, because it's defining a process for a place, defining a structure for a place. So I find a lot of similarities in all my careers. I haven't found a difficulty. I've just found a will to keep learning and keep leveraging on my strengths.
So do you enjoy the space that you are in at the moment in your career?
Very much. I think at present I am loving it. Yeah, I am loving the place.
So what are some of the skills that you've learned in the process?
In the process of transition, I have learned that with every new role, I will always feel scared, and I will always feel like an imposter. It's real. Because I'll always feel like, okay, do I have enough skill set? Do I have enough knowledge to take on this role? Because I've never done it before. So what I would say, or the things that I've learned there is, again, leverage on the facts, leverage on your strengths. Every job will either require a process, with either, your strength is always leverageable somewhere. Leverage on those as you stack up the other pieces. So I think that, and then two is, don't invent the wheel. There is someone who has done what you're doing, And I wish I knew that when I was doing customer experience. When I was beginning customer experience, especially customer experience leadership, there's always someone who has done what you're doing. Reach out to people. LinkedIn is my best friend. Reach out to people and just ask people what they're doing, how they're doing, what is a role, what is required of a certain role, and people are always, it's amazing how people are always willing to give you that information and be like, oh, this is actually what this involves. That way you keep building your muscle, because now you know, oh, it looks like this is the structure and this is the boundary of this given role. And yeah, you ask people what are the challenges, what do I need to know, and people guide you there as you also leverage on your own strengths. Then I would also say, don't transition for the sake of transitioning. Transition based on where you are. So, for example, it was easy for me to transition from customer care operations to projects and programs, because I had seen projects and programs in my previous role, and there was a lot of interfacing. So, and it was something that I was interested in, and just not given it a name. I knew that after customer experience operations, I wanted a more strategic or a more I wouldn't say a back seat, it's a more initial role of creating things. So it was easy to go to projects or products, because now you get to define things, you get to speak to your customers. Like, I had a checklist of what do I need to have, and then which role can meet these things that I need to have. So I think leverage, or sit down with yourself, ask yourself, why do I want this role? Like, just define what you want to do first, and then the role will find you, or you'll find the role. Don't go for the role and then you're like, do I actually want to do this? So just define. Say, I want to sit at the decision making stage. If you want to do that, say, I want to sit at the place where I converse with my customers. Sit and say, I want to be at the place where I do this and do this and do this. And then you will always find the path that aligns with that. Yeah.
Okay. Now that you did not follow the path that your parents desired for you, how did it go, or how did they take it? Did they accept it?
First of all, I'm super grateful for my parents, and I think the grace that those two individuals have given me, I'm super grateful for them, because I realized very quickly that the intention was just one: be happy and have a life, so did they support me? 100%. Not once have I lacked support. Not once have I felt like I've been loveless because I kind of wasted your school fees. I have received overwhelming support. I've seen how curious my parents have been on the roles that I've taken in my career. They've just been curious. They've been like, okay, tell us about this customer experience thing. They've even asked me, how are you taking care of your ears? Because you're speaking to so many people. And when I was young, I had ear problems. So they've been curious about that. They were curious about that when I was doing customer care, actual customer care. Then as I've grown up in ranks, they've also just been curious in trying to understand. So I think I would say it went well. And right now they are supportive of my dreams. I tell my parents about my goals and my plans for my career, and they're super supportive about it. Yeah.
So if you are to advise people out here who are trapped in, they would want to transition to another career, but they don't know how to go about it, what would you advise them? Just look at the camera.
Oh, what would I advise them? I think I would say define what you want first. Like, just ask yourself, if you're trapped, it means you're seated in a place that you feel like you're not growing, or things are not going well, or you're wondering if this is something that you want to do for 10 years or 15 years or until you retire. So I would say ask yourself internally, what is it that you want to do? And just write it down, one. And then two, I'll say list on a separate list, also say what are the strengths that you have that you can leverage. What is it that you do so well, and what is it that you actually enjoy doing as well. And then with those two lists, figure out what role or what industry or what career path fits into those two, like what you want and your strength. And then after that I would say capacity build yourself in any way. Capacity build yourself by asking people, hey, what's going on in this industry? How do you do this? Leverage on courses that are available online. Like Google offers such amazing courses for almost everything, and some of those courses are free. So if you find a role, how can you age yourself for the role? For especially for the technical ones. For the non-technical ones, I will also say find a way in which you can actually do that role with someone or alongside someone, and that will also help you like build the strength and build the muscle for that role. So for example, if you are in sales and you're super interested in customer experience, and you know that you want that, and you have mapped out your role and said, I want to do quality assurance in customer experience, and you have looked at your strengths and you've seen that they are matching, so your vision and your strengths are matching, look for someone in your network and ask them, hey, how does this work in customer experience? Like investigate that role and then get that validation that indeed this is the role that I want, and then ask them, how can I go into this path? And then leverage on the things that they'll tell you, and try and do the role and then go into it. There is no role that I have done without getting into the role first. Then I found myself in it and I'm like, oh, I actually love this, might as well do this as a role. Find ways to do it, and like be proactive about your own career path, because the truth is no one is going to be proactive about it more than you. That's what I would say.
Do you have something to say to your parents for their support?
Hugs. Thank you. Thank you for the grace. Thank you for the grace. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the curiosity around roles and careers that I have found myself in, some of which I'm discovering myself. So thank you for like just joining the path and discovering with me. Thank you actually for never making me feel like I wasted money or something. Thank you for always just saying, this is where we are, tuendele, and thank you for just consistently just being curious about where I am, where I'm going, and thank you for being my biggest cheerleaders. Like, hey, may I get in trouble, and I'm just like, Mom, Papa, this is it. So I'm very grateful for that level of support, that level of love that has always been there.
Thank you, Chebet, for coming to the Frankie Money Show.
You're welcome.
We are happy and grateful for your coming. We've come to the end of our show, and in this show we say that iron sharpens iron, and you do not have to be trapped in the same career. You can still transition, and thank you.
Thank you.